All right, I got a couple of Seadoos in. I'm gonna do a little work on for a friend. Just gonna put new plugs, do an oil change. That's simple stuff. Trying to see if their battery will charge up. I think one of these is supposedly having hard starting, unless it's been run, then it'll start fine for like a week, then it's not fine. I think it's that blue one. My guess is dirty fuel screen pickup in the tank. So that's what I'm going to be doing on that one, as well as the oil change and plug change, which is simple. Just wanted to show you before I get too in detail, because I tend to go work and then, oh, well, maybe I should do a video. But anyway, this cover is on here like this. This is a supercharged Seadoo, and it's just got two clips on either side that hold the cover. You've got to pull the dipstick, push the clips in, the cover comes off. These are your this is how you run distributorless ignition now. Everything's got a coil pack. You need to put a little dielectric grease or something on here when you put these back in, to make them easy to release. And of course your plugs are down in there. Your plug gap and type are right here. This is the exact same kind they bought, and look, it tells you the gap right there. So tells you type of plug, tells you the type of gap. Oil, of course, you have to suck out. You have to suck the oil out of these. So that's 2005 RXP. Just getting general upkeep maintenance done on it. Maybe getting new batteries, we'll see. That one's the one that's going to have a little bit more problem, and we'll probably do a video on pulling the fuel pump and screen when I get to it. But I'm working on the easy one first, because I want to start my day with an easy job and not a hard one. So there you go. I'm going to change the plugs, go get my pump the oil out, change the filter, all that good stuff. So I'm gapping the plugs to 0.030 inches per the specs right there. NGK part number 4339 is a DCPR 8E per specs. That's what it calls for. You've got to pull this electrode tip piece. Well, that's the electrode on the other end. This has got to unscrew on this, because it's off of those already. You can see down in there. So that piece has got to come off of all of them. All right, this is what it looks like back together. Still got it has coolant, because it has some sort of turbo intercooler, and there is nothing in there, and it has a line for cold. So I'm gonna have to fill that and get all the air out of the system by running it. But yeah, I gotta get some coolant in there. They're running it without coolant. That's not good for that thing. I'm sure that I don't know. I'm used to the two strokes that just cool off with the lake water, you know. But apparently these take coolant. Odd. Okay, so I'm working on an 07. You with your last two digits of your serial number. This is a 07 GTX 4-tech engine. You pull the seat off. It's very similar to that supercharged version RXP over there. You've got the same style cover. There's some little vent in the top of the cover. You can just push that right out if you want to get it out of your way. Don't forget to put it back on. That's just some sort of vent. I'm not sure what it vents yet, because I haven't looked. Let's see. It's good. It's just venting right over here to the throttle body, which the throttle body on this thing is really corroded. I bet the injectors are dirty or something on this, or the I'm guessing this is some sort of throttle position sensor. Yeah, that's what that's going to be, because it looks like the throttle is going in right next to it. See how that moving with the throttle. So that's a throttle position sensor. That throttle body is looking pretty rough. Looks like it ought to be pulled off and cleaned. If it looks that bad outside, I just wonder what it looks like on the inside. Very similar engine. The battery placement, instead of being in the nose, is right behind the tank. In order to easily access that third plug, I'm gonna have to pull the cover here. These 10 millimeter, 4 10 millimeters, and they've got a little spark plug storage for extra spark plugs on this one. How about that? It's got a foam piece. It might be fairly watertight. And again, coolant, and it's low, so I'll top that off as well while I'm in here. All right, this one's a little dirtier, even though it's newer. I don't know what the difference was. They're owned by the same person, probably kept in the same place. But, got a lot more corrosion on this one, even on the battery terminals down there. That's going to be the start solenoid with those two red cables. All right, those are off. There's a couple of clips that hold that to its hose. You got to pull the push the two clips on the bottom, lift it up out of bracket here, get it moved over out of the way. Gives you access to all your plugs. This engine's a little dirtier than the other one. The other ski's a lot cleaner. It makes me wonder if they bought this used from somebody that lived maybe in Florida or something. It's just the rust on this one compared to that one tells me this one's seen salt water use. Look at that on the temp sensor, all that corrosion. Lots of corrosion everywhere. But this one's the one that's having the problems, apparently. So, okay, I've stuck in 3 new plugs. Now, I want to mention something about good practice working on jet skis. I lay out the parts that I take out in the order they go back in the engine. Okay? Now, these are my plugs, first, second, third. I want you to look at what the plugs are telling me. You see the story? These two are firing just fine. Look at this electrode, pure white. That cylinder hasn't been firing. He said this thing wasn't starting well and not running right. Well, there's a problem right there. Either you had a dead plug, hopefully that's the problem, or this is bad. It was connected well. You know, it was nice and tight on there, but this coil pack could be bad. Gotta try to get it to focus on this thing. There's your part number. It's a Nip and Denso. So I've either got a bad plug, which ideally that happens. There can be a crack in there. Just a bad plug, dead plug. Well, this is bad, or I've got corrosion in the wiring on this number 1, just like I had on my Kawasaki jet ski. Now, I'm not seeing it, but it could be a wiring issue. You know, that it's just not making good contact in the wiring. So I'll try to clean that. I don't see any breaks, obvious breaks in the wiring. These apparently run right here. So your plugs are telling a story, and this plug's telling me it never fired a lick. So hopefully just a bad plug. So I got a brand new battery that my neighbor has provided. These are his uncle's jet skis. Gonna change out the battery there. This is a 5/16 nut driver I've got for that. And then the other one looks to be quarter. Let's see. Yeah, 1/4 inch nut driver. 5/16 nut driver. Get those two hoses out of the way. There's going to be the strap, and then it looks like 10s. That might be a little bigger than a 10. I can't tell. See center screen. There's going to be a strap on either side of the battery, more than likely. I can't see the other side until I get the hose out of the way. So what we're going to do is pull the battery. I'll pull this plug again, stick it out here, ground it on the engine somewhere, and see if this is firing. If it's not firing with a new plug, I'm going to suspect that this coil, that little piece there, is bad. But you can also check wiring. I'll need to know where that wiring goes into there to run a continuity check on it. All right, I cleaned everything, cleaned those terminals. There was a little bit of green on the Denso terminal there. This thing fires right up. So I think once again it was just a little case of corrosion, maybe. Might have just been a bad plug. Still got to change the oil, but got a new battery put in it. I like the way they put a strap around the battery, so once you take everything loose, you grab the strap and just lift it out. Nice of them to think of such a thing. So it just makes it a heck of a lot easier to pull that battery out of that hole there. I appreciate that, Seadoo. Thank you very much. That is a strong sounding engine too. And of course, I have to test ride anything I fix, so there you go. I won't be riding it much, just a lap, 10 minutes or so, that's about it. But I think once we get the oil changed, do a little cleanup job, this one will be late ready for these people. They wanted it for July the 4th. It's going to be ready in plenty of time for that.